guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be talking about books that you can buy your loved ones and friends for Christmas or for the upcoming holiday season. So this is a bookish Christmas gift guide. I've not done one of these on my channel before, and I'm really excited about sharing with you some ideas that I've got for books that I think would be perfect to gift for Christmas. Obviously this list is not going to be exhaustive, and perhaps there will be some ideas on this list that you like more than others. So if you've got any additional ideas of books that you think would be perfect to gift for Christmas, then please leave them in the comments down below. It's help other people out with what they can buy their loved one for Christmas. So I always feel like that it's a good idea to buy somebody a series for Christmas, and so with that in mind, I think if you're somebody who likes contemporary romance, then buying somebody a set like this would be perfect for Christmas. So this is Sarah Morgan's Puffin Island trilogy. So we've got Suddenly That Summer, First Time in Forever, and Some Kind of Wonderful. And these are lovely contemporary romance books. They are set on this little island called Puffin Island that's off the coast of, is it Maine, or I can't remember where it's off the coast of. Anyway, it's sort of like this lovely little small town island, and it's about these three best friends who live on this island or who have lived on the island, and about them all falling in love basically. And I just think a series like this would be perfect to gift somebody if you want a gift that's going to make them feel good, that they can return to again and again, and that obviously these three would look absolutely fantastic on their shelves. Gifts for children, so I really like the Pages & Co series by Anna James. So this is, the first book is called Tilly and the Book Wanderers, and the second book is called Tilly and the Lost Fairy Tales. This one has just come out. The hardback editions of these are really pretty, so the covers are lovely to look at, and then if you look underneath the dust jacket, the design of them is just absolutely fantastic. They're full of illustrations and the stories are so whimsical and lovely, and I think this would make a lovely gift for a child or an adult alike. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Another book series that I think would be perfect for a gift for children is the Nevermore series, and this is by Jessica Townsend. So we've got the first book, which is called The Trials of Morrigan Crow, and we've got the second book, which is called The Calling of Morrigan Crow. And again, I mean, the books themselves outside are wonderful, and then they've got these wonderful illustrations inside. So this is a series that has been compared to Harry Potter. So if the child that you're buying for has read Harry Potter and really enjoyed it, then this would be an option to get for them, get them started on a new series, get them interested in some other fantasy worlds. I haven't actually read these, my husband has. He said that they're fantastic, they're on my TBR, but they're just so beautiful as well that they would make lovely Christmas gifts. If you're looking for a contemporary book that's a little bit quirky, that's a story that is following a bit of a different character, then I would recommend Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This was absolutely fantastic. It's all about a woman called Eleanor Oliphant, and she lives a really isolated life. You know, the way that she behaves and socially interacts with other people is very different, and you're finding out all about her life, and it's a book that centres around her interactions with the world. It's about loneliness, but it's a really good story as well. This is the original hardback edition, so this is really pretty. It's got all of the gold stars on it and things like that. And then also you can pick up the Waterstones exclusive edition, which is a naked hardback, and it's got sort of gold foiling on the cover and things like that. And again, this is such a pretty book that I just think it would make the perfect present. I've got a children's picture book here, and this is Franklin's Flying Bookshop by Jen Campbell, and this is illustrated by Katie Hartnett. There are two other books in this series now, and I just haven't had an opportunity to get my hands on them, but this is a lovely children's story all about a flying dragon called Franklin, who has a who flies around with a bookshop on his back basically, and it's about the adventure between him and, I think her name is Luna. Let me just check. Yeah, it's Luna. So there are just absolutely fantastic illustrations in here. So this is the first illustration. I think this would be a perfect gift for a very small child, but also I just have a copy of this on my shelf because I just think it's so beautiful, and it's got a really good message in it. So if you're looking for a great picture book idea for a really small child that you're buying for, then I would really recommend this book and then the additional books in the series. I think a great book to buy for a teenage girl would be Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. This is a collection of stories about women throughout history. So if I just show you some examples of them. So we've got Jane Austen in here. So you get an illustration and then you get a little bit of information about who the person is. So there are some recognisable names in here, and then there are some less recognisable names. So Helen Keller, somebody I recognise a little bit less than others. Who else have we got in here? Some really modern ones as well. So we've got Simone Biles in here. She obviously won a gold medal for gymnastics very, very recently. This is such a lovely book, and I think it would be great because it allows, you know, people to, or children, or whoever picks it up basically, to learn more about women throughout history who have achieved great things, you know. And if you're really interested in particular stories, then you can go away and learn some more about them. They're really short little stories as well, so it's the sort of thing that you can pick up and put down, you know, read for 10 or 15 minutes and then put down again. So perfect for somebody who is maybe a bit of a reluctant reader, like that kind of idea. Maybe this would work a little bit better for them, but I just think this is such a great present idea. I always think that the men in my life are the most difficult to buy for, so I have an idea of what you might get them, and this would work for women as well. But this is Adam Kay's two books, This Is Going to Hurt and Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas. Both of these books are about his experiences of training to be a doctor in the UK, and they are both funny and very emotional. So I think they'd be perfect for somebody to pick up to learn more about the NHS and more about what it's like to be a doctor in the UK. They're very, very short, so again, maybe somebody who doesn't read much would enjoy something like this because they're not sort of really chunky and intimidating. And I just think the comedic aspect of this would appeal to a lot of people. So I would definitely recommend that. I mean, obviously you can buy them separately, but I quite like them as a little set. I think that's a really nice present. I obviously couldn't make this bookish gift guide without mentioning the illustrated Harry Potters. So the fourth one has recently come out. This is the first one, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. They're illustrated by Jim Kay, and they are just delightful. So this is the first book, like I said. So these are some images in here, some illustrations of Diagon Alley. We've got Harry Potter himself. And they are just delightful. I would really recommend getting these for somebody who's already a Harry Potter fan. You know, if they've read the original series, and I think buying them the illustrated editions of these would be a fantastic idea. You know, they can reread them again, they can appreciate them in a new way. But also, I think if you've got somebody who, you know, like a child for example, who wants to read Harry Potter for the first time, then maybe having an illustrated edition of it would be a bit more appealing to them, because obviously they can read the text and look at the pictures at the same time. Yeah, these are a bit more expensive. They're sort of around the £25–30 mark, something like that. But again, a really lovely present. I think if you're looking for presents for stocking fillers, so books for stocking fillers, I've got a couple of different options here. The first one is Greta Thunberg's No One Is Too Small to Make a Difference. This is a series of speeches that she made talking about, you know, why it's really important that we wake up to the fact that we need to do something about the environment, that sort of idea. And again, really, really short, but packs of real punch. It's definitely something that I think lots of people should read and would make a great stocking filler present. And then alongside that, I've got Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's We Should All Be Feminists. Everyone should read this, in my opinion. They can go away and watch the TED Talk of this on YouTube afterwards. But it's just basically a speech that she made about why we should all be feminists. And I think, again, something that would be great as a stocking filler. If you're looking for a present for somebody and you want it to be sort of like mindful and, you know, that you want them to have a restful experience and sort of, you know, get back into the new year feeling really good about themselves, then maybe a bit like this would help. This is The Little Book of Hygge, The Danish Way to Live Well by Beek Weeking. And this has been out for a couple of years now. But basically, it's a non-fiction book talking about the sort of Hygge way of living, and it's got things in here about, so if I read you the excerpt from the back, it says, you know Hygge when you feel it. It's when you are cuddled up on a sofa with a loved one or sharing comfort food with your closest friends. It is those crisp blue mornings when the light through your window is just right. So Meek is CEO of the Happiness Research Institute in Copenhagen and has spent years studying the magic of Danish life. From picking the right lighting and planning a dinner party through to creating a Hygge emergency kit and even how to dress, Meek's beautiful, inspiring book will help you to be more Hygge. And I just think this would be a really lovely little present for somebody with that sort of thing in mind. It's a lovely naked hardback edition, and it's got recipes in here, it's got sort of like craft ideas in here and things like that. So a more sort of practical book to give them as well, and I love the idea of this. A couple of options that are sort of foodie wise. This one is sort of in the vein of the Hygge book. So this is Eat Up by Ruby Tandoh. And this is basically, the subtitle of this is Food, Appetite and Eating What You Want. So this is basically a book where she talks about food and why it's important and sort of like some of the history of food and some scientific facts behind it and things like that. But also in here are recipes that she has written and that she uses all of the time in her own life. So for example, let's flick to one. We've got chicken soup for the common cold. What else have we got in here? So that was under the feel good food bit. 3-day whiskey gingerbread loaf cake. So it's got loads of different things in here. If I have a look at some of the chapter titles, we've got sort of like digested eating with the seasons, you are what you eat, sharing plates, home cooking, Christmas, and that sort of idea. And again, it's quite short, so maybe perfect for somebody who's a bit more of a reluctant reader, or he doesn't read as much and maybe as some other people do. And also you can direct them to the audiobook of this. So Ruby Tandoh narrates it herself, so maybe you could buy them an Audible sort of subscription as part of that as well. Something like that would be a really good idea. I also really liked this book as a foodie type book to give somebody for Christmas. This is A Curious History of Food and Drink by Ian Crofton, and this is basically exactly what it says on the tin. It talks about different aspects of food throughout the ages, so it is split into prehistory, the ancient world, the Middle Ages, 15th century, all the way up to the 21st century. And it just talks about different aspects to do with food and drink during those particular times. And it's absolutely fascinating. Each little sort of excerpt is only a couple of pages long. So again, perfect for somebody to pick up and put down, you know, coffee table book, that sort of idea. Really like that as a Christmas gift. So the last option that I have here are for perhaps people who enjoy classics. This is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, but this is the Penguin Classics cloth bound edition, and Penguin has a whole host of these books, and they come in these lovely cloth bound editions of them basically. So they all come in a particular colour, they've got sort of like a fabric front to them, and then some sort of pattern on the front. And I just think these are real sort of like keepsake books. So if you know that somebody has a particular classic as a favourite, then I think it would be ideal to buy them something like this. And then similar to that, I've got the Virago Modern Classic edition of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So this is a naked hardback again. It's not fabric, but it's sort of like the naked hardback, that's what I said basically, and it's got a pattern to it. It's really, really lovely. Again, if they've read Rebecca before, you know, it might be a really nice idea to buy them a really nice edition of it for their shelf. You know, something for them to read again and again and sort of have as a keepsake. I really think that's a good idea, and I think there are a couple of other books like this by Daphne du Maurier. So I think they've got an edition of Jamaica in this. Yeah, and I think that's a really lovely idea as well. So there you go, guys. They are all of these suggestions that I have got for books that you can buy your loved ones for Christmas or for the holiday season. Of course, you've also got things like gift vouchers for gift shops and for Amazon Kindle. And then you've got the option as well of perhaps buying them a subscription to something like Audible. I always think that's a really lovely idea as well. But what I will say is, you know, it's always lovely to support independent bookshops. So, you know, if you know that they live in a particular area that has an independent bookshop, perhaps it would be a really lovely idea to buy them gift vouchers for that particular bookshop, you know, to support some of our independent shops in the UK basically. But there's some other options as well. So hopefully you found this video really useful, and that you know, found some ideas that you might like to buy people for the upcoming holiday season. Like I said, please leave me any comments down below if you've got any additional ideas to help people out with what they might buy as presents. Then we'd love to hear them. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.